Hello everyone and welcome back to Technically Unsure, where I'm not really sure what I'm doing technically.
Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Someone tell me how to feel.
So in this channel, we have reviewed a bunch of computers and SBCs and small form computers, small computers, whatever you want to call them, that they were using like Intel N100, Intel N200, and 305 as well. We reviewed all those. And one of the things that you guys were saying, and honestly, I also say the same thing before even recording the video to the companies who were selling them, that the price is high, right? What can you do? It is what it is. That's the price they're selling it. And one of them actually said, literally said R&D is expensive, I just found something that kind of proves the point. It's not super cheap, okay? But with the capabilities that comes with it, that's what I'm talking about. That's the price that these type of computers should be. I'm not gonna pre-celebrate. I'm not gonna judge and say anything right now. I'm just saying if it works, right? Because sometimes you get the device, you hope that it's everything gonna work out of box, then trouble after trouble after trouble. But let me share my screen. Let me show you what I'm talking about, okay? So what I found was this, and I bought the N200 version with 8GB RAM and 128GB NVMe SSD. So it is up to you. And let's say you don't want that, okay? So if you remove the storage, let's say you already have your own NVMe storage and you have your own DDR5 RAM, so you don't need it, you go with no RAM, no storage, okay? And then there is, and let's say you want to go with the N100, you don't need the N200, okay? It is literally $240. And if you say, okay, those SBCs that you reviewed on this channel, they come with RAM, good, okay, they didn't, none of them came with more than 8GB RAM. So we give 8GB RAM, it goes, again, it's not exceeding to 300. It's not exceeding 300, and it comes with a lot of Ethernet ports and even SFP ports that we're going to take a look at it. But as I said, I wanted the N200, and in terms of difference, it's already here in their own specification page. Yeah, Intel N100, it's 3.4 gigahertz. Intel N200 is 3.7 gigahertz. And almost everything else is similar, except the also a little bit difference on the graphics card. But if you go with the highest option, this one actually have more cores and more threads, which is i3 N305. And that one, if we go with 305 option, let's find that, it's right here. That will jump up to 400. Now, this is going to be like some of those SBCs and NAS and other devices that we have reviewed in this channel, okay? And that's also with RAM and with NVMe SSD. If you go with no RAM, again, if you say you have your own, that's 360, okay? So now we covered that. Let's actually take a look at the device. This is the device that just arrived. Literally, they had a box over this box. So I just removed the outer box. And yeah, this is the device. I didn't open it, didn't touch anything. It is exactly how it arrived, okay? This one also comes with the power supply, okay? And the power supply is, wow, 12 volt, 10 amps. I love the power adapters like this. I can, again, I can use this with many other devices that I have. I'm not stuck using it with this, but I'm just saying, I like it. And it uses one of those Mickey Mouse, power cords, okay? We put that aside, and then literally just the device. And it comes with the case. Wow, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. And heavy. And heavy. Okay, I gotta open this. I'm not using it as is, but just so you know, there are 2 SFP ports. There are 4 2.5 gigabit Ethernet, and there's 2 USB 2s over here. Okay, that's in this side. On the back, we have a display port, HDMI port, 3 more USB and 1 USB 3 ports, SIM card slot, SD card slot, USB Type-C over here, and a power button, which is upside down. Okay, so yeah, the Chinese is shining through. But anyway, let's not get distracted. You're paying fair price, let's say, if everything works, okay? And I see a strange thing over here. There's a screw over here, and there's a ground sign. See that? Yeah, that's this icon for ground. I guess you ground it with this I don't know, screw. That's new to me. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm definitely opening this up. Okay, we're gonna take a look at it. I just want to plug everything. Also show you guys how you can turn this, right, into the first line of defense in your house network, and securing your own home network. Okay, so what you can do is there is an Ethernet cable that comes from your internet ISP provider, right? Internet provider ISP, right? And that one goes to your Wi-Fi modem router, and then you have probably 1, 2, 3, or whatever you have devices that are modems, routers, and you have it spread across your house. And then you might also have many devices, like let's say a NAS or a server, let's say you're running Proxmox or something like that, that are wired, connected to that internet edge. So what you can do is get that cable from ISP, plug into the first one, let's call this WAN port, so this is the internet port, and then create 3 separate networks and have 3 separate segmented networks. Or you can just use one of these ports and connect it to a router. That is not, its function is just routing, not the security. So you can install pfSense on this to secure your home network, and then create multiple separate VLANs. And with that, what you can do is you can create one insecure Wi-Fi. That's what I did in my house, okay? I have a Wi-Fi network literally called IoT. And I connect all the devices that I don't know. I just have to use it for whatever reason. I don't know the company, I don't know much about the device, and it could be doing whatever, right? So what I do is I have that IoT network, and that IoT network absolutely cannot see anything in my network, in my LAN, in my other trusted network. And then I have another trusted Wi-Fi, that's my main Wi-Fi. And then I have Ethernet connection, right? So what you can do the same thing here. You can have multiple different VLANs, different Wi-Fi SSIDs, and then have one to trusted, one untrusted. Put the devices, not necessarily trusted. You know what? Let's say you have a light bulb, right? Why that light bulb should be able to even ping your NAS? Absolutely doesn't make any sense. So what you can do is you can create a Wi-Fi, call it IoT, and IoT Wi-Fi VLAN will never ever be able to talk to the other network which you have your NAS on, or your more important devices, your workstation on, right? I'm not saying those are doing something shady. Maybe they are doing, maybe not, but there is no reason why that device should be even talking or even pinging, or it shouldn't be able to see your NAS. So that's what you can do with a device like this. Not necessarily this. As in other videos I've told you, you can have a Proxmox server, have it on your motherboard, install on a server, and then install Proxmox, and one of the guests, the first guest can be guest OS inside the Proxmox, can be pfSense. I have done that setup as well for some project. So you can go with virtualization and have pfSense as a guest in a Proxmox server, or you can have a dedicated hardware like this. I have done 2, 3 different types of deployment in different projects, and I have other bigger servers that I have used for pfSense and routing. That being said, let's take a look at this bad boy. For that price, if everything in these ports work and it boots and it's performed well and it is quiet, then that's a good deal. Then that's a good price, that's a good deal. Let me power this up. I'm gonna bring 2 Ethernet maybe. I'm gonna give it to 1 internet, and 1 I'm gonna connect it to my computer that I'm gonna be recording. So that's going to be a guest to my new the new router and firewall. And then I will show you how to do this. Give me a couple minutes, I'll be right back. I just did exactly what I said. So as you can see, this one is labeled to PC. So this one goes to the computer that I'm recording from. As a guest, we'll come back to that, but this one is connecting to the internet, okay? And now and then also there's a mouse and keyboard connected and the HDMI. So I'm gonna press the power button. That is fast. Oh, actually, it is from CWWK. In their Amazon, I mean AliExpress listing, it was calling it King something. It was something else. Anyway, we'll come back to that. So it is from CWWK, and it's Alder Lake N200 and 8GB RAM is there, 4800 megahertz. Okay, and then there are some CPU configuration stuff in here. AVX is enabled, all that stuff. Okay, first of all. Okay, are you hearing it? It's a little bit loud, just right off the bat. And here is a 20 watt. Okay, we are in BIOS and it's 20 watt. We're gonna come back to all that later. Efficient cores, okay, and what else is there? PCH. Okay, so there's Intel ME. Thermal activation offset is 25. Okay, trusted computing, obviously TPM is there, TPM2 is there, so you can install, technically you can install Windows 11, but I don't really see a lot of ideas and use cases to have a Windows 11 computer with 4 2.5 gigabit and 2 SFP ports. I don't know. ACPI, IT8613, Watchdog, GPIO, hardware monitor. That's a fast fan, that's why it's loud, but it's cool though. Okay, and network NVMe configuration. Okay, Shiji 128 gigabit NVMe SSD is already in there, and yeah, it seems like some OS is installed. Oh yeah, FreeBSD. Oh, I'm guessing they already installed FreeBSD then. Sorry, I mean pfSense. All right, not much else in the BIOS. Let's continue. Oh, yep, there you go. They have already installed pfSense on it. So that is good, I guess. But I'm gonna, yeah, I will be using my own. I just want to see how it goes first. I just want to see if it boots. And then I have my Ubuntu image, which we are going to boot into it. Okay, what version? pfSense 2.7. Okay. A little bit behind, but it doesn't matter. I just want to see if it logs into anything. And they didn't share any user and password, so I'm not even able to going to use it, but let's see. Okay, yeah, so it's a first setup. Okay, there you go. Intel, okay, hold on, don't move. Intel X520 SFI, SFP ports are there. Hold on, let me Google that. So as you can see, that's a 10 gigabit PCIe card, X520. That's DA, but I just want to see those numbers in here somewhere to make sure it's the exact same. Oh yeah, here. Intel 82599. That's what you see there. So it's 2 SFP, which supports 10 gigabit Ethernet is there, plus 4 2.5 gigabit Ethernet. This can turn into a beast of a router and a firewall. You can connect up to 2 over there, to 4 over there, 6 devices just directly. But you can, as I said, convert, let's say the SFP 10 gigabit, connect the 10 gigabit to a small switch and use multiple ports in that device as well. But yeah, that is nice. So let's go back to the BIOS and boot into it. All right, so we are booted into Ubuntu. I just booted into Ubuntu, and as you can see, it is CWADLN, PCIe 4L, whatever, and then there is N200, 3.7 gigahertz, and there's some GPU over there. And I gotta tell you, it was super fast when I was booting, okay? Like installing packages. So that being said, let's do a sysbench, okay? And see where does the power consumption go. So 36 watts, okay? So when you're using the CPU to the max, you are going to get 36 watts. Okay, wow, okay, so that's 12,581. Let's do a stress NG. All right, so we are done with the tests, and as you can see, it is scoring 15,000. And just for reference, the Raspberry Pi 5 will score around 870, so let's call it 900. So it is obviously much faster, and as you see, also consumes a lot more power. So that being said, one of the first things that I want to try is iPerf3, okay? The 2.5 gigabit ports obviously work, and they are 2.5 gigabit. And now what I want to do is actually, let me see if the, okay, we are on here, ENP2 S0, 3, 4, 5, and I think these F1s are the fiber optic. That means we are going to use one of these, okay? So what I'm gonna do, remove the 2PC one, let me connect this one that is capable of 10 gigabit Ethernet to Unify dongle for now, and plug that one in into an SFP port. Okay, so that one is up. It is trying. Let's see, there you go. I got the IP address, okay? So this one should be now 10 gigabit, and let's test that 10 gigabit speeds. Of course we are getting 10 gigabit speeds. This is amazing. This is awesome. Okay, so we have two 10 gigabit ports over there and 4 2.5 gigabit ports. This can turn into a beast of a firewall. And by the way, what was this power consumption? Let me see. Okay, 30 watts. All right, so when we are even doing iPerf test and on the SFP port, it goes up to 33 watts. Okay, just so you know that. It's a bit, tiny bit high, but it is what it is. Okay, but in Ubuntu, out of box, the SFP ports are detected and gigabit Ethernet's detected with no drivers installed or anything, okay? And same with the pfSense, we saw that. We booted into the pfSense and it was already there. One more thing that I want to try is actually that flash ROM thing. I just want to see if flash ROM we can internal, if you can read it. Nope, that's what's happening with the CCW, whatever what the company's name, that their SBCs, you can't really access the BIOS chip directly. You have to have one of those clips. Doesn't matter. Okay, so Intel ME cleanup not gonna be that easy. So we tested a bunch of speeds and stuff. Let me go grab a pfSense. Oh, I already did. Okay, so let me just boot into pfSense, and we are going to install our own pfSense. Actually, we are going to get into the fast forward mode. I'm going to install the pfSense, and as you can see already, it is detecting the two SFP ports and 4 2.5 gigabit ports. All of them are detected, and I am going to use the IX1 as the WAN internet connection port. I have to keep that in mind. Okay, and proceed with the installation. Okay, and now it is asking for the LAN interface. And for the LAN interface, I am going to use the first one, meaning this one that goes to the PC, okay? So I am going to count this as a LAN, and I'm going to use that. Okay, so IGC0, we're gonna call that LAN. For LAN, it automatically started giving IP addresses, right? So 192.168.1.1, I'm okay with that, totally okay with that. The HCP range starting from 100 goes to 150. This one actually you can go to 250, especially if you have a lot of devices, okay? That's pretty much it. So let's go proceed. Okay, proceed with the installation. So LAN is IGC0, which is active, which is correct. WAN is IX1, which is the SFP. That is also correct. Okay, so this is the community edition, doesn't matter. All right. Gonna go with that, gonna go with that, gonna go with that. Stable. Okay, so what I did was literally basically just pressing enter a couple times. Everything default, I just proceeded, okay? And the power consumption is 23 watts, okay? And if you have, I actually have a couple pfSense, the paid version, whatever it is, a plus. So this, you don't need, if you don't have to, you don't need it. So just, I'm testing it, so I'm not gonna use any license on this. We go with the community edition. It works. It is more than enough. Okay, So it is now fetching packages. I'm going to install. Let's go into fast forward mode. Okay, so we are back, and as you can see, we are booted and our WAN IP address is right there. That's actually true, and it's coming from my internet and it goes to my router. Ignore the IP. That's going to be your real IP coming from your ISP. And then LAN IP address, it is providing IP address to my computer. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to go back to my computer, and I want to show you what you can do to manage and control and run that firewall. Okay, now what I'm going to show you is actually, as you can see, my device already got an IP from pfSense 192.168.1.100. As you remember, when we were setting it up, we said the DHCP address start from 100, go up to 250, and I got the first IP. Okay, so what we can do is navigate to that 192.168.1.1 is the gateway. So this is self-signed certificate, admin pfSense. Okay, there you go. So welcome. And the first thing it's gonna probably ask us to change password. So primary DNS server. I use you know, the 888, 844 or 9999 or 1111, doesn't matter. You can use whatever you like. I just don't use what is my ISP providing. That's all I have to say. You can put whatever you want in here. What I'm going to put is actually this, my pfSense server. Okay, host name is pfSense test because I actually have a real pfSense. Domain name doesn't matter, home.rpa is fine. etc UTC is correct, let's leave it there. And DHCP selected type for WAN is always DHCP, that's correct. For LAN, that's also correct. We actually did this. Okay, now we can enter a new password instead of the default one for the admin account, and that's it. Okay, now it's going to configure everything. And just one thing I have to tell you, if you were configuring it from WAN interface, meaning you were connecting to your device with the WAN IP, after that setup that I just did, you won't be able to access it. It will start enabling the firewall, so you won't be able to access the firewall from WAN interface, from this interface. It is blocked unless you go and manually enable it. So as you can see, 10 gigabit base is up and working, and 2.5 gigabit LAN is also working. So imagine this is your internet and this is your LAN. And if your internet is not above gigabit, so you can do the opposite. You can make this your internet, which is 2.5 gigabit. You're not going to cap it. And then use the SFP ports for your LAN, for all the devices in your network. Use that 10 gigabit bandwidth for all the devices. That makes more sense if you're not using a 10 gigabit internet, okay? What you can do is you can always go to the interfaces. I'm not gonna go through every single step on how to set up firewall, but here you will see the other interfaces that we are not using. So we assigned one to WAN, one to LAN. Let's say you want to use one of these ports and connect it to a router, Wi-Fi router, and that's going to be your insecure network, right? What you can do is, first of all, you have to create separate interfaces. You can do it here physically, separate them, right? What you can do is you can say, okay, so this is IGC0. Let's go to the next one. I just did 2.5 gigabit one. Use this, right? Add it and save this. And it's going to be default as OPT1, okay? And you go to the OPT interface and you can say IoT devices, okay? So something like that, and enable the interface and give a different IP address and configuration to this and set up a DHCP server on it. So this one, let's say you can make this one say 192.168.75.1, okay? And then this one will be the, sorry, not MAC address here in the IP address, okay? So this one will be, and you have to do this 24, this one will be your insecure internet, okay? And let me save this. Sorry, that's the actual WAN IP address that I'm using. I'm sorry. Let's do another different type of IP, 172.16.10.1, okay? So that's going to be my IP address, okay? I apply, okay? Now, what you can do is you can go to the DHCP server in the services, in DHCP server, and go to the IoT devices and enable for this range as well. So what you can do is you can say start from 100, go up to 250. And now it will give IP addresses to all the devices in this range. And you can force them to use your DNS server by putting it here, but also going to the firewall rules and blocking all the outgoing 53 port or 853, and then all will have to use your DNS provided DNS server. With that, what you can do is you can enforce and filter websites or ads, block ads. So what you can do is you can go to the system and you can go to the package manager. This is what I love about over pfSense, obviously one of the things. So you have so many packages in here that you can install, and each of these does a lot of things. Like one of them is iperf. That's actually every single video I've done in this channel, I am doing it with an iperf server installed on a pfSense, installed on my real firewall. Okay, so we are basically testing every single test with a pfSense iperf extension installed on my server. Okay, so these are all the add-ons that you can install. Couple favorite ones that I just want to show you. One of them is pfblocker ng, okay, and developer version, the development version. I use this one. With pfblocker, you can block ads throughout your Wi-Fi, throughout your network, and all the ads that are basically blockable with the DNS domain address, right? And then you can import a lot of URLs, domains, and list of sites that you want to block. There are so many out there, and you add that, and the ads won't show up in your devices. Okay, what I can show you, the other important packages that you can use in here is Snort. So we said we want to make this to secure your house network, right? Snort is actually an IPS and the IDS, intrusion detection system, right? And it inspects the packets and things that users are doing. Unfortunately, I've seen some false positives, so it's not like you can install it and forget about it on if you enable all the rules and snort rules and all that. But when you see it is blocking something by mistake, you just go there and add it to whitelist or add it to exception list, and that's it. But the thing is, you have to be doing that for a while till it gets used to your internet and your network. Sometimes, not all the time. So Squidweb, if you have not super fast internet, let's say you don't have gigabit internet and whatnot, you want to use local cache to speed things up for your house, for your network, to have faster things, faster internet, faster web surfing, you can cache a lot of things, and it will be able to delivering stuff to your network and speeding things up, your web surfing stuff. The other things that are nice that you can use in here in terms of add-ons is WireGuard. You can have WireGuard on your edge pfSense, and when you're traveling, you will be able to dial and connect to your pfSense, and from there access your home network if you want to. That's one of the other things that I've been doing. So there are so many other things. NTOP NG, I love it. It is a very powerful tool, gives you a lot of insights into your network and the packets and activities and devices and websites that you're visiting. A lot of powerful things. You can install this and use it for that. Nmap is for scanning the network, and so on. There are so many packages that you can install. And with that, another thing that I just mentioned in the beginning of the video was VLANs. So VLANs, as we talked about, so here you have 4 ports. You can physically separate them, connect one port to one router and Wi-Fi router, and all the devices will connect to Wi-Fi router. Wi-Fi router will come to this 2.5 gigabit port, and you're good. You're separate. But let's say that's not what you want to do. You want to use these 4 ports and connect them to some other routers and switch router, and then from there you want to be able to connect multiple devices to that switch router, but on each port you want to have different access level. So you want to say port 1 to 10 to be able to have its own VLAN and its own IP range and its own rules, settings, firewall rules, and a port from 10 to 20 have separate rules. For that, you just have to create a VLAN. That's all. So all you have to do is first you have to choose the parent interface. As you can see, we have WAN, LAN, and OPT already used, so you can use one that's not used. And for VLAN tags, I don't know, just say 50. 50, that's right. And then you just save this and give it a description and assign this to that port. And when you add this VLAN, now you have to also add it as an interface, okay? Now you have a VLAN, basically a virtual interface that we just added. And now if you go to the interfaces, as you can see, OPT2, and this OPT2 is not really physically a separate LAN, but it is a VLAN. So you can now use this to give a different IP address, different IP range, and different set of rules. And those rules are defined in the firewall rules page. That is also very easy to use. So you just go to the, let's say, LAN or IoT devices. And what you can do is you can say, okay, IoT devices, if they are trying to do, let's go with IPv4, IPv6, not TCP any port, and source is any destination, if they are trying to access anything in the LAN address range, okay? If you want to say any device from IoT devices range trying to access anything on the LAN address page, you just say block, okay? Just an example rule. So you add this rule and say, okay, IoT devices can never ever talk to LAN devices. So that's just, you add a rule, you save it. So any device that's in the IoT devices range coming through Wi-Fi router, coming through a cable, or through a switch and a VLAN, doesn't matter. You will be able to enforce those rules and restrictions and separate and segment your network. So devices that do not have to talk to each other, you better block them so they don't even see each other or talk to each other. So if one device in that insecure network is compromised, it won't affect your secure and more important network and devices that are on that network. That's what I've been doing in the house. You can do the same. And this device is very, very good fit for that. So I'm not gonna do a dedicated video on pfSense. There are so many great channels on YouTube going through pfSense and configs and settings and rules and all that stuff. It's also self-explanatory, to be honest. It's not really rocket science. It's all the menus are, you know, easy to use, and so I'm gonna leave that up to you, unless you tell me in the comments below that you want a dedicated video for me to walk through the options, interfaces, VLANs, firewall rules, services, and a couple other things, that DNS blocking. Okay, all right, I will do that. There are so many great things in here. I'm using many of these capabilities, yeah, here is the settings. There are general settings for your device. And for those of you who are like me, one of the first things you have to do is come here and go to the theme in here and enable the dark mode. Yeah, it is already hurting my eyes. So let's turn on the dark mode, and yeah, the rest is self-explanatory. So I showed you this device. We walked through it. Now it's better. And seems like all the ports are working perfectly. The speed tests are coming back perfectly. The only thing that I'm gonna say is a little bit power consumption is high, and it's a little bit loud fan, but price is perfect and all the ports are doing great. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm going to take a look at inside. I want to see what is in there. So give me a couple of minutes. Okay, so we are seeing a beautiful board and a case. This is very nice. There is a filter on this, behind this, so the dust or garbage doesn't go in. Dust will go, but yeah. So here, I look at this. It's a little bit floppy. Okay, here, as you can see. Okay, you see on this camera. Okay, so this thing is a definition of a little bit janky, because, as I said, this is very, very floppy. What they should have done is actually have a stand. As you can see, this board already have stands, places for stands, and they should have, you know, mounted it instead of having this jankiness. But I think, yeah, they are mounting it in front by these holes and holding it in place like that. Okay, I am going to give them a pass. So yeah, it's kind of tight. As you can see, it moves with the shell. Okay, all right, I'm gonna give them a pass. So this seems like it is add-on plugin for installed as a probably to the NVMe slot, sorry, PCIe slot, and this is using PCIe X4 probably. Let me take it off. Okay, that is nice. Oh, look at that. They have a PCIe riser that turns, it's like an L shape, as you can see. So it's PCIe is here on this board. This is the RAM, that's the NVMe SSD, the battery is there, ports are here, CPU and the heatsink is on the bottom. Actually, this is top, so that's top. So this is bottom. And there are a bunch of USB ports that are unused and unexposed, as you can see over here. That's very short because it's right in front of it. There is this case. You can't really use those ports much. And yeah, the rest of I/O is here. And this is a PCIe riser with an L shape. And they are using this board. And this board is, oh, okay, CWWK. So they designed this board as well. As you can see, CW is right there. Okay, so this is a CWWK board and a computer. I don't know why it was listed with other names on the AliExpress. I guess it's common over there, but yeah, maybe white labeled, but I don't even see any labeling on it. It's still CWWK everywhere. So anyway, it doesn't matter. So there you have it. You can replace the NVMe SSD that they ship it with, or just don't order one with, and have your own RAM. You know, don't order it from them. Just put your own 8 instead of 8. Put 16, maybe higher. I think it goes up to 32. So just keep that in mind. No more. And yeah, the case is neat, and everything looks nice and in order. So this motherboard is mounted using the screws in here. And is this attached? You know what? I already came out this far. I'm gonna go further. Okay, so here is the L-shape PCIe 4X card riser. Okay. There you have it. Okay, now you're happy? Okay, so this looks like a laptop cooler. I've seen this also in other SBCs. It's okay, it's fine, it's working. Just these things, what is that? Why? Okay, there are some stains or markings, whatever is there. Okay, and also this looks like a BIOS, is it? No, that's the LAN RCM. Okay, now I just thought I spotted the BIOS easily that you can use with the SYC clip. Anyway, so there you have it. If you don't like the case, you literally can use this. And if you don't want to use the razor, I don't know, you want to plug it like that as is, there you go. So you can use it this way without the riser. And yeah, this is it. This is it. You just put this whatever you want. Up to you if you don't like the case. But I really like the case. I'm gonna be honest. It's nice. And the cooler just a little bit loud. I guess this is a laptop fan, as I said. That's why it's a little bit loud. You can replace this with some Noctua or some other quieter fans. But this is nice. Anyway, there you have it. I showed you the pfSense, I showed you the benchmarks, and I showed you the physically inside the device and the riser and everything in it. Okay? If you have any questions, please let me know down below. I think I found a great deal, and definitely this is something very useful for anyone who wants to set up their own, you know, firewall or anything else. Really, with the router, you can have even use it as a switch and router, and yeah, and like endless capabilities. Okay. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you're thinking down below, and if you want me to do a dedicated video on pfSense setting and configuring one for your house and home network, let me know. I will do that as well. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye for now.